Right, hello, people. Let me just put a thing in chat so that people know that I'm here. Oh, my overhead camera is going a bit weird. There we go. I got you? Perfect. Overhead camera's still here. Let me just put an announcement in chat in the Discord so that everyone knows that I'm here. Everyone, we are safe. Perfect. Right. I see most people were waiting and then we had two people drop off, so I'm just going to wait a few more minutes until everyone's here. Right, and whilst I'm doing that, I'm going to double check that everything is working. Perfect. Right, so how is everyone today? I hope everyone's doing good. Give us a shout in chat if you can see me, if you can hear me. Everything is a bit different from what it would normally be. I had to reinstall Windows on my computer, so everything is kind of all over the place at the moment. I'm not expecting a lot of people to join today, mostly because I didn't want to ping this in the Millennium Discord, because obviously it's nothing to do with Milo. So. Right. Let's give it a couple more minutes. And I can check some stuff. Give us a shout if you are in chat. Say hello. Let me know if the audio is all good. Oh my goodness, why is my top camera freaking out so much? Hello. Alright, let's see if I can get... There we go. Perfect. Right, I'll give it one more minute and then we'll just get going. Right, hello everyone. You might be wondering if we're building Switchwire today, why I have a Switchwire built over here. If you don't know, I built myself a Switchwire conversion out of my old Anycubic Mega Zero printer that was absolutely terrible. It was built without a heat bed originally, but this is my all-time favorite printer build that I've ever done. So I can keep it around for me, and it does genuinely print pretty good, despite the fact that it runs on linear rails for the X and Z, and then oops, give us a second. I gotta turn my phone on silent. Yeah, it runs on linear rails on X and Z, and linear rods still for the Y-axis. So that's kind of one of the reasons I decided to start building a Switchwire kit. One of the other reasons was we finally got all our Vorons in for the shop. We got a bunch of V2.4s, a couple Switchwires, some V0s, and then we got 2 Switchwires. Now, one of the Switchwire kits, the box came fairly damaged. You might be able to see that this box isn't doing too hot at the moment. So we asked Jason if he didn't mind if we built this on stream, and he was really absolutely fine with it. He encouraged it, so big thank you to Jason from LDO for letting us have this kit. But without further ado, I'm going to start the music again, move this printer, and then we can start unboxing everything. Right. Let me know if the music does become a bit too loud. Okay. Shout off in chat, see who's here. I want to know. How's everyone doing? Ooh. If the audio sounds a bit different and you are just joining us, it's because I had to reinstall Windows and all my audio settings are different, hence why things might look a little bit different as well, because I wasn't able to save my old OBS profile. Let's go to the overhead, shall we? Perfect. Right, so hopefully everyone can see now. We can do a little bit of an unboxing. So, what comes with this kit? So, you get all the normal Voron LDO knickknacks. Nice little... I actually don't know what that is. Oh, it's a nameplate. A nameplate. Don't be shy, all. Join yourselves in the chat. Hey, Alex. Hey, Alan. Can't stay long on my lunch break, but wanted to say hello. Hello. Hope you're doing well, dude. Here's one we made earlier. Yes, it's exactly that. Exactly that. If you don't know, I name all my printers. I have Abby and Brian down here. Claire is my Bamboo Lab P1S. Curie was my Trident. The Trident is going to get a rebuild at some stage, hopefully. Right. Ooh, nice gold thing. Nice, I like that. Have it. So, that's the LDO stuff out the way. And then my Switchwire is called Poppy. So, Poppy's just sat next to me right now. So, this is one of the enclosed kits. So, I do have enclosure panels. I do plan on enclosing this because I am going to use it as part of the print farm for Milo parts and future Voron parts. So, I'm going to need the ability to keep the heat in. The tool head in motion, so we got belts, we got the key back. Now, if you don't know what this is, basically on the Switchwire, there isn't enough detent torque in the, what is it called? In the motors to be able to hold the gantry up. So instead of holding the gantry up with the detent torque, they use a key back to apply just a bit more force so that the gantry can stay up. I don't have that on my other Switchwire, so if that one loses power, it just drops into the bed. I haven't had it happen yet, and it's been running for a few months now. But yeah, right. So key back, some sandpaper. I'm assuming LDO just adds this to all the Voron kits so that you can rough up the surface before applying your silicone heat pad. We got some bearings, some idlers, some cable chain, stuff like that. If you don't know, Milo was kind of based a lot off of the Switchwire. You might see that from everything that's in there, quite frankly. Like the cable chains were all the same spec as the Switchwire ones, and that was just so that they could be sourced easier. The electronics enclosure, that was very heavily inspired by the Switchwire enclosure. Ooh. So, LDO has started including Revo hot ends in all their kits, I believe. Now, I was never overly impressed with the Revo, because, you know, I tend to like printing faster, but I'm also not disappointed by it. So this is my first actual sighting of a Revo in the real world. How do we put this together? Going like that. I don't actually know what the different colors are. I think they're just nozzle sizes, aren't they? But I don't know which one's which. I'll have to look that up later. So, we got a Revo included in this kit with 2 nozzles. That looks like a 0.6 nozzle and a 0.4. That's my guess. So, got that. Then we got Revo's not terrible. Give me a second. Reader's not terrible with 60-watt heater and high flow nozzle. Okay, yes, they do make the high flow variants of the nozzle now, don't they? Right. The best thing about LDO kits, pre-made wiring harnesses, so I don't need to worry about wiring them. Thank God for that. We got a UK plug here. Yeah, I have a million of these. Then we have the controller board. What is this? It is an SKL Mini. Okay. Oh, never mind. It's not the one I was thinking of. The one that's for the... Actually... Oh, this is a Mini E3. Okay. It's not the one that BTT made specifically for the V0s. Cool. So we got that. And we got the cable with it too. And then we've got the linear rails. Now, I don't know if these have been pre-lubricated. I'm probably going to lube them on stream. No, it doesn't look like LDO pre-lubes these, but they do look like decent. I believe they are MGN 12. LDO, SLR 12H. So yeah, that's just the LDO's version of MGN 12. More electronics. So we got zip ties. We got, ooh, I think this is a keystone plug for an Ethernet cable. So if you wanted to run Ethernet, you can use that. Then we've got, I believe, this is a power supply for the Pi. Yeah. Is it a 5-volt power supply? Yeah, 5-volt power supply for the Pi. And then a Pi 4. SD card, all that kind of stuff. And I believe this is the screen as well. So normally Switchwires don't come with a touchscreen. I believe the LDO one does. And that's going to be able to run Clipper screen and all that good stuff on it. Hey Dave, how you doing, dude? Sweet. Dave, could you drop a link to the shop, please? To the Vorons of the shop. Yeah, I'll leave the peel for later, so we don't break it now. Everyone says you don't need a touch screen for Vorons because you've got the web interface. I disagree. I love being able to just run off a job over and over and over again from the screen rather than having to access a computer every single time. But that's because I run a print farm and I'm often doing the same work over and over again. Ooh, and we got fans over here. Fans and an inlet. So I'm guessing that's going to be the hot end fan, sorry, the part cooling fan, hot end fan, and then that's the electronics cooling fan there. Sweet. Then we get, ooh, the Nighthawk board. I assume this is all the CAN stuff. Yeah, there's a CAN connector here. That's going to be a first for me, so I don't know whether or not I have to include that. I'm not the biggest fan of CAN stuff. I don't see the point of it, naturally. But that's because I prefer kind of a simpler solution. So we got fasteners in here, a bit of PTG, which I'm guessing is for the clear bits of the stealth burner. Some tools, some feet, all your nice little bits and pieces. I'm going to save that and put it to the side actually. because I've yet to print those bits off. Nighthawk is USB, okay. I think that's going to have to be a mission of mine to do a bit of research into. Assuming this is the heated bed. Now, unlike most of Voron's, I don't think the Switchwire comes with multiple sizes that you can have. Oh no, this is a printed a build surface. Nice. Yeah, I don't think the Switchwire comes in multiple sizes. I think it's just the 250 size, and I think that's because they wanted to use like Prusa parts or Prusa clone parts to keep the price down when they were designing it, which is absolutely fine, absolutely fair. And then we got the heat bed, and because of that, they don't have an aluminium heat bed like all the other Vorons do. They have a PCB heat bed. Now you might notice on a PCB heat bed, they're really not as thick as the aluminium ones. The aluminium ones are like a 10mm bed. These ones definitely don't even come that close. I don't think they need to either. PCB or PCB material tends to be a lot more stable under heat, so you shouldn't need to have to worry about it warping as much as an aluminium bed would. And again, if there's probably a lot more people in the community who would be better at telling me what everything is and why some designs were done the way they were. But I'm not a printer dude. I am a mill dude for the most part. Have to go back to work. Talk to you tomorrow. Cheers, dude. Oh yeah. If you don't know, we are going to be in a video with West 3D soon. I won't spoil it too much. Howdy 3D Experiments. How you doing, bud? Sweet. So over here we have the old Prusa carriage. So, I believe this is actually from a Prusa Mark III, the cast bed that they have. You might even be able to see the little tabs that are here, and those are originally for the linear bearings that they used to use on Prusas before we had all the nice linear rails that were accessible. And I genuinely think these have just been copied pretty much one for one from that. Doing all right, hope everyone is well. Cheers, dude. I hope you're doing well too. And then we've got motors. So, there are 4 of them. Y, X, Z, and then extrusion motor. It's a fairly simple setup. And then we've got extrusions and power supply. These are the same power supplies that get used in the Milo as well, I think. It might be a little bit lower spec, but they are pretty good. No, LMF 350. These are the exact same power supplies that they use in their Milo kits. So that's good. At least I'll know what to do there. And then we got extrusions. Let me move this box out of the way. Be gone! Perfect. And then we got extrusions. So, it's a bit of a weird setup for extrusions on Switchwire. They actually have a mixture of 30-30, which are chunky boys now. But I actually can get a good look at them. Yeah, these are chunksters. They have a mixture of those and 20-20 extrusion. So if you look at them side by side, you can see the difference in look. So I think these make up the base, and the Z portion and I think these make up the X portion of the gantry. Anyways, who's ready to get building? Because I know I am. Right, let's clear a bit of space, and let's get some documentation open, shall we? Whilst I'm getting this up, how's everyone's day been? What have you guys been up to? Dave, did you manage to get the that link I was asking for? Let's add something so that you can actually see. Let's capture. There we go. Link to all the Vorons on our store and printed parts kits. Sweet. Sweet. So, Switchwire manual. It's, if you've seen the Milo manual, it is the precursor to the Milo manual. Let me put this in the corner. It is the precursor to the Milo manual. It's very much the same in terms of styling. We are moving away from that for Milo, but for now, we can use this. Right, so I need some extrusions. Getting extrusions together. Separate the extrusions you're going to need for this section of the build. We've laid all the parts you should have and highlighted ones that will be used in the following sections. Cool. I have no idea whether or not I'm pulling the right extrusions out. We'll see. If you want an update on the Milo build, by the way, we are going to get back to it soon. I have just hit a bit of a snag with wiring. The connectors that I ordered from AliExpress only came with a screw-in part of the male connector. Oh, sorry, the female connector. So I've had to kind of print out a piece for it. This is only a test piece. It's a bit too big. So I'm going to have to figure out a solution for that, because these don't the wires that I'm using don't reach all the way up to the electronics box yet. I'd have to make a bunch of extensions for that. Yeah. So we are going to get back to it eventually. I really do want that machine up and running as quick as possible, but you've got to make some sacrifices somewhere. Perfect, so let's get these organized, shall we? So it is these two sets of extrusions first, and the two longer 30-30s. Like that. A 30-30 with two holes in it. These two, and then that one and that one. Sweet. Let's continue. And he's going to need some M8x16s. Okay. outdo myself now by just throwing all the trash on the floor. Where are my fasteners? There are my fasteners. Wardrobe. Yep. Exactly that. Oh, LDO have either upgraded or changed the tools that they put in their kit. So I need some M3x16s. If you know me, if you watch the Milo build, you know that I hate the single-use bags, so I am so glad that these are Ziploc bags this time round. Just gonna put those in there. Sweet. And I needed 8x16, sorry. An 8x16, perfect. We need 4 of these. A nice set of Allen keys. Right. Is that big enough? No. Oh, how you doing, Alex? I see that you put an order in recently. Those will be going out tomorrow. If you got an email already, that's probably because that was just the label being printed. They are going to be leaving my house tomorrow, though. And you should have them by Monday. The order was the new test animals looking forward. Oh, I've had a look at them. I actually got sent them 2 days ago, 2 or 3 days ago. They arrived 2 or 3 days ago. They look absolutely stunning. I think you are really going to enjoy them, my dude. Cool. Upside down assembly. Let's make some space. So. It doesn't give me anything that says how far spaced they should be at this point in time, so I'm just going to assume that comes later. I'm not going to type these all the way. New collets coming soon too. We do still have the LDO collets if you are in need of collets. But yes, Dave does, as Dave mentioned, there are still collets available. Speaking of which, Dave, what is the plan for the LDO collet, the LDO end mills that we still have in stock? Still getting to grips with Milo right now, waiting on an AliExpress tool probe so I can do offsets right. Yeah, it does make life a lot easier with those probes. Have you managed to get anything cut without them? Is that it? Or has it just been too much of a pain, too much of a hassle? How have I managed that? I'm gonna try and get my 1, 2, 3 blocks out to help out with this. One of the big things with Vorons is you need to make sure that the frames are built correctly. Otherwise they just end up not being great. I learned that the hard way with my Trident, which is currently in a closet somewhere. Discount code for gets bonus free set when you buy a new Milo. Ooh, there we go. That sounds like a good idea. Sweet. Don't want to ding up my Vice until I am done learning. Ah, here's the thing. You can ding up your Vice. Did you order some serrated jaws, Alex? Did you order some replacement serrated jaws for the Inception Vices? Or was that someone else? To be fair, I probably should put down a small NDS spoilboard and put some toe clamps down. Yeah, that's probably. I always think that when you're learning, it's probably best to forgo a Vice for now and do toe clamps and spoil boards. Just because if you do mess up, it's a lot less expensive. No serrated jaws yet, but I see you stock them. Yes, we have stocked them. If you are the person who has ordered them, do let me know. The rest of the Vices have arrived, but they were running behind on orders for the serrated jaws, so those are going to go out a bit later this week. Right, step 1 complete. And I need some M5 by 10 button heads. Don't show insertion of T-nuts. Sweet. It's going on this side. M5 by 10 I'm looking for. So many plastic bags. M5 by 10. I need some. Guessing the 30-30 ones. I'm working on some bootstrap toe clamp concepts. You can get going with nothing more than stock, a few bolts, and something on a spoil board as a spoil board. Yeah. If you don't know, my preferred material for spoil board is HDPE. If you don't know where to get HDPE, go on Amazon, look up cutting boards, and use those. It's a lot more stable than wood. They do swell up over time when they absorb moisture, but they're a lot better than MDF typically is for that. And you can cut threads into it. You can cut bare threads into it and actually have a chance of holding something. So that's my idea for a spoil board. My recommendation for spoil boards. Cool. Check that that's 90. I've checked that that's 90. I need 140 between each extrusion. My calipers go to 140. Right, so I've checked that this is 90 and all these corners are 90 because I installed them with the 1, 2, 3 blocks, so those are fine. I just need to make sure that these now are 140 millimeters apart. Probably easier with a ruler, actually. Fake 200mm Toyo from AliExpress are amazing. Can recommend. You'll have to send me a link at some stage. Sure they are. Should actually be able to do the same trick on either side. Make sure that these are aligned 90 degrees to each other. Sweet. Nice. And we need to check these as well. So it should be 90 and 90. Where did I put my ruler? There it is. Right. 90 there. 90 there. Hey Zen, damn, missed the first half hour. How's it going? It's going all right. Going all right. Mostly just talking about you. Perfect. 90, 90, 90, and everything's squared up. Nice. Perfect. What are we doing next? Right, I needed to get the two 3030s that don't have any holes in them. So these two here, and then the one that does. So I'm assuming that's the top brace, and these are the bottom braces. Where are my big bolts at? M8 by 16. If anyone ever wonders why we don't use the 3030 for any machine stuff, if you actually look at the profile of, say, a 2020 versus the profile of the Masumi ones, you get a lot more aluminium out of these per unit volume than you do out of these. The walls tend to be thinner on these ones than the ooze nest ones that we use. Yeah. So overall, if you add more of these to make up for the width of the 3030, these are actually stronger and heavier. So that's why we use these for Milo and why we don't use the 3030s. Just smash the like button. Good man. If everyone else would do the same, I would be very, very thankful. But I am also just very, very thankful for all you coming. So give yourselves a round of applause. Give a cheer, give a whoop, if that's what you need to do. I just wanted to say that I appreciate you all. And I hope you're all having a fantastic day. C-beam sourcing. Yes, that is another reason you can't really get C-beams in 3030 size. It's one of the harder things that we've tried to do and failed, unfortunately. Although I do have a plan for kind of stitching a giant column together on a machine at some stage in the future, out of like 4 different C-beams, 2020 C-beams, and then filling it with epoxy granite. But that's a very, very distant future. And I really want to make a proper industrial size machine. Like, I'm talking Tormac size. Speaking of which, a Tormac 4040 has less work volume than Milo does. I'll say that again. A Tormac has 4040. Yes, it's on the lower end of the industrial machines. It's more hobby level, but it is a proper cast machine. Has less travel and less space on it, less working volume than a little hobbyist machine that's in a garage somewhere. Let that sink in a little bit. Sweet. How is my audio, by the way? I have changed everything. I did have to reinstall Windows on my computer because it completely died on me. But it cuts metal. Yes, a Tormac cuts metal, so does Milo. And I've seen the complaints that machinists make about the 4040, so a lot of them don't think it can cut metal. Need 165 degrees. I'm just going to semi-tighten these. Audio's good. Good to hear. So that's preliminary. I need 165 mil. That's good on that side. That's good on that side. Jeepers. I'm getting these spot on today. Sweet, so, believe it or not, that is the frame for a Switchwire. Pretty much completely built. You do have the extrusion for the X axis, but that can come later. There we go. It kind of looks like a sled, like a sleigh to me, or a sailing boat, like a catamaran or something like that. The Switchwire that you are building this to help with the printing farm. Yes, so if you missed it earlier, it's somewhat to help the printing farm. The box came a little bit banged up, so we couldn't sell it on. So we asked Jason if he didn't mind if we built one on stream, and then we can use it for the farm. So yes, it will be put into the farm. It will have some service on it, but we didn't buy it. We didn't get it specifically for that. Debating on converting an Ender 3v2 Switchwire is worth it. Nate, if you missed the start of the stream, this is Poppy. This was an Anycubic Mega i3 Mega Zero. It didn't even have a heated bed, and I converted this thing to Switchwire. I love the Switchwire. It is my favorite type of printer ever. The conversion is well worth it. Yes, you will lose a lot of work area when you do it. This was originally a 210 by 210. It's now a 190 by 200 printer. So you do lose a bit of volume, but it is well worth doing the conversion. Because I don't even run Input Shaper on that thing, and it prints the nicest out of all my printers. Barring my Bamboo Labs. My Bamboo Labs is the only one that prints better. To be fair, I do run it quite slowly. It's not a speed demon, and it is my PLA machine. It's my It's the machine I use for all my D&D stuff. And it also lives in my room most of the time. I have so many printers that I've had to start shifting printers into my room. Yeah, if you've got an Ender 3, make sure that you have enough parts, double the amount of parts just in case some of the parts break. But if you have an Ender 3, convert it. It is well worth doing. Perfect. Right, so that is the frame done. We're going to need some printed parts soon, I believe. Cool. Going straight to rails. Nice. Oh, I don't think I have the rail guide installed. That's okay. We can get away without the rail guide. I hope. Yeah, we'll probably be able to get away without the rail guide. Could you convert a Creality CR10 Smart Pro? You probably could. I would... It's a bit more difficult because you would probably have to add some extrusions like I did with that switch wire back there. Just to make the electronics bay deeper, because they, instead of, how do I explain this? Let me get, so instead of having the rails attach, the crossbeam attached to the extrusions like this, the extrusions on the bottom are flat on the CR10, right? So you've only got 20 mil to work with in terms of putting electronics on there. So you'd either have to put another extrusion underneath it, which is what I did with that one over there, or make like a basement that's like like Trident or V2 style, and you could probably do it. Other than that, I think it's just generic stock conversion at that point. You might need to modify a few things, but when I built that, I basically took 90% of the parts from the Ender 3 conversion mod and just stuck them on a mega frame. So you could just do that. Right. I need some rail stops. Where are my printed parts gone? I had my printed parts somewhere. Ah, there they are. So my Trident was a blue and orange build. Now, unfortunately, my Trident is no more. My Trident is currently hidden away in my cupboard over there, not to be seen until I rebuild it, because it got to a point where it was so bad and so inconsistent because of all the mods I kept trying to do to it and kept trying to botch it and just kept trying to push it forward, that I just gave up on trying to fix it all the time. So I'm going to rebuild that at some stage. Now, it's blue and orange motif, and I love those colors. So I am going to print the Trident parts in a different color going forward, and I'm going to put a blue and orange build on the Switchwire, because I do love this color scheme so much. I think it's worth doing. So, what do I need? I need some rail stops. That's one rail stop. That's two rail stops. Do I need any for the bottom? It doesn't look like it. I need some M5 by 10s. I'll have a look, thanks for the advice. If it's either that or convert it to an EDM machine. And I don't know, the rack stuff looks really cool. I've seen the original machine. I know they've gone proper wire EDM, like a sinker EDM for the next version. I haven't really seen what it does performance-wise. I don't know. EDM is a very, very specialized form of machining. It's rare that you'll decide to do EDM over something else. Something like a traditional mill or something like that, because they can only work. It only works in two dimensions. Hobbyist HV makes me a bit nervous. Yes, yeah, that's another point. You're working with a high voltage system. I can't knock the guys. They've done an absolutely fantastic job just to get to where they are. It's just not for me. And anything that brings more machining to the market is, in my opinion, a good thing. Okay, so these do need to be in the right orientation. Same reason why with laser cutters, you get the risk of blinding yourselves as well as Yep. Lasers scare me. I don't think people realize how dangerous they actually are. And I'm not just talking about being blinded, I'm talking about the materials that a lot of people cut are dangerous in themselves. I think it's PVC, which is a lot of records, and I've seen a lot of people make laser cuts memorabilia out of old records, which emits chlorine gas, and that chlorine gas can kill people, and it will kill people. And then a lot of the time, laser companies that make lasers don't actually include properly spec'd laser eye protection. And the protection is only meant to last for a split second anyway. It's not rated for constant viewing, if that makes sense. Interlocks and safeties as well. Yeah. I think that's something I need to add to CASA at some stage. Definitely a door interlock that pauses the job if you open the door. But at the same time, big spinny machine that it makes lots of noise that you know not to go next to, versus very quiet laser system that you think, oh, I can pop my hand in for a second. Right? Despite the fact that they do both should ideally both have door interlocks, one is a lot easier to lull yourself into a false sense of security than the other. Right? Big spinning machine, stay away from. Laser engraver, people think it's fine to get close to them, which it isn't. I've seen people opening the lid up and recording it as it's engraving. Yeah, the interlocks only work after a certain depth. They don't work infinitely. I believe all these rails are the same length because they're all in the same box together. Actually, now that I think of it, should I not have 5 rails? You got X and Z. Is Y only 1? Is that only 1 rail? And then X is another rail? I thought there was 2 rails for Y. Yeah. We'll get there when we get there. Lewis, I used to own a K40. I'm much happier with a mill. Yeah. I feel like lasers are one of those things that it's just not necessary to have a laser a lot of the time. What can you actually do with a laser? You can cut out some plywood, but I don't think you need to a lot of the time. If you're going to make a nice box, make a nice box. Don't make a crappy plywood box that is stuck together like Meccano. Yeah, I'm just not a big fan of lasers. Supposedly, this is the trick for these rails. No. I don't see how that works. I keep getting told that that's the way you should apply grease to rails, that you just push them through that bottom hole and it fills everything up. It never does though. I just like to use the risky way of taking the carriage entirely off and just dabbing them entirely with grease. You do run the risk of losing balls this way, but I prefer it over not having grease in them at all. I printed the grease STL part. Yeah, the grease STL part was kind of it wasn't my best moment, I'm not gonna lie. It wasn't my best design ever. I mean, it works if you don't mind it dispensing grease at the speed of one snail pushing two snails. Yeah, it does work. I do prefer it to not having a tool at all, but you know, I reckon it had, if I had heated the grease or something to a low viscosity, yeah, that probably would work. That makes sense. For now, I'm going to stick to the risky version. Yep, that should be good. Sweet. So I'm going to need some M3x10 is my guess. M3x8 on MGN12. Sorry, I'm used to MGN15, which is M3x10. 12. You lot complain about how many different types of screw we have on Milo. There are at least 30 different types of screws for the Switchwire. Should be enough. Do we have... What do I keep these in with? Peanuts. Well, there we go. How many do I need per... Looks like I need 6 per. I do wish there was some way to make these centered. The holes actually be centered on the piece. I know that gets in the way of the ball, but I wish there was a company that made them centered, because it'd be so much easier. It'd be so much easier. You made a dent in the warehouse stock yet, or you still overflowing? Vorons, we haven't sold that many of. We've pretty much sold every single Milo. Positrons, which haven't arrived yet. We've sold a couple of those. I'm really excited for that printer. I might actually buy one for myself, because I really want something I can take to Kenya when I go and visit my parents. and having a little thing that would fold up. The only thing is I still would print an ABS, so I would need to build a little collapsible portable enclosure that I could take with me. Although saying that, when I go and visit my parents, it's going to be like 40 degrees anyway in Kenya, so I probably won't need an enclosure. Yeah, but as for Vorons, I don't think people know about us at all. So if you could do us a favor, share us with all the local Facebook groups that you're part of. If you're part of a Voron Facebook group or a 3D printing Facebook group, let them know that we are around. We do try and get on as many lists as possible, and it does tremendously help us out. The more people who know about us, the better. Unfortunately, we are in the position where most people who do know us are either have either already bought what they want to buy from us, or they know us for Milo and they don't realize that we also sell Vorons. But yes, we got an order in for our Voron 350s today, and they are currently taking up my entire couch. And if you don't know, I use this, on the other side of this wall is my bedroom, so when I print a lot of stuff, which happens because, you know, we run a shop, I tend to sleep on my couch to get away from all the noise and vibrations that come through the wall. And I don't currently have that option. It's all right though, because I don't currently need to actually sleep to print anything, so that works out. I need to get the Milo built out first before I can justify Voron. Sweet. How far along are you on with your build? How long are you with your build? Sorry. I'll speak English someday. Oh, if the person who wanted me to send their Vice early and separately from their main kit is on at the moment, please do let me know, and let me know what your order number was, because I can't just send everyone's Vice at one stage, because they don't know if they're part of a different order, right? I need to know which order it was so that I can split that order up in our system. I can't send anything until you tell me what order it was, and then I can split that order into 2 separate packages. I need to get the Milo bill out. Wait, lol, I'm still waiting for it to arrive. It should be soon. Should be soon. We haven't been given a tracking number yet, but we have been told that they will be shipping kind of mid-May, which is right around the corner, really. Are you excited? So we say all good, no rush, but then you're twitching out in the background. You've got that nervous twitch going. I need it. I need it. It's like me when I'm waiting for new parts to arrive. Accu, for the first time, Accu has let me down. Accu is where I order all my fasters from. They're a great company. I still do recommend them. But I've been waiting for the same dowel pins for the last like 30 days. Waiting for batch ones was intense. I was very happy when I got it. Oh yeah, the packaging was amazing. Packaging? Oh, when we repacked them. Do you mean? Yeah, glad you guys enjoyed that. I was so glad when Dave and I managed to find that packing tape with that we could put our logo on. It looks so good. Oh, I'm back. Yeah, my camera's been doing that ever since I've rejigged my setup around. Just been randomly flickering on and off. I will need to figure out what it is. It's probably a power supply issue. In the kit, the extrusions were proper custom cut for. Yeah, so that's the LDO touch. We didn't do that bit. LDO does a great job with all that. One of the reasons we decided to partner with them. That, and they're just awesome, and they make cool shit. Like, it was amazing how many people just go YOLO and bubble wrap stuff. Yeah, Ooze Nest does that, not with bubble wrap, but with brown packing tape. And there's so much of it. They also send tiny extrusions in huge boxes. Really annoys me. Parts are printed, and yes, it feels like being a kid waiting for Christmas. Yeah, I get that feeling. That was like me when I first started developing for Milo. Cool, so it looks like we can put the frame down for now. On the floor you go. Into the floor drobe. We need this bad boy, and we need a printed part. Feels good to be back at streaming. I have missed it. I have just been so busy with work and other things. I haven't had the energy to do it. I know that sounds weird because all I'm doing is sitting here, but it does take a bit of... You need to have the ability to just go, fuck it, I'll stream today. Rather than just recover like your body wants you to. Hello, where are you? Oh, don't tell me I haven't printed it. Let's start. I need to organise my prints better for stream. I can't just throw them all in a box like I normally do. I need to channel my inner Steve. Steve's great at this kind of stuff. Steve is the most meticulous organizer for streams. He's such a meticulous builder. He organizes things so well. He always prints out little bins for things. Everyone needs to be more like Steve. Also, I need to build a bench to put Milo and Casa on. Cool. Are you waiting for the LDO kit for Casa, or are you going to go straight into sourcing it yourself? think I've missed printing it somehow. Okay, we're going to skip that bit for now, and we're going to go on to assembling the rest of the y-axis, and then we can do this bit later, because it doesn't actually need to be done now by the looks of it. Carriage modifications. Some vendors offer carriages, but carriage. Oh, okay. So this is a drill jig. Okay, so I don't actually need that part. Never mind. So that's a drill jig. It looks like you screw it into the original holes for the Prusa version of this, and then you drill out the holes according to that. Cool. So I don't actually need that part. Right. In that case, frame comes back up, and print parts come on the floor. Going to wait, to be honest. By the time I finish my LDO caster, won't be far off. Yeah, it's gone out to testers. I didn't get a testing kit because it's just too big for me to have two casters in one place. So that's my excuse for not testing it. It gets to a point where I just have so much stuff in here that I can't justify getting more cool stuff. And I know that sounds like, from your guys' perspective, you guys want the cool stuff, you guys don't want to have to pay for it, and it can sound quite obnoxious in a way, but I physically cannot fit more stuff in this room. I am at my absolute limit here. Oh, I have printed them out. But those are for the x-axis. Oh, don't you just love... well, can you just pass it over to me? I do have a whole Milo, a whole self-sourced Milo that I need to get rid of. It's partially built. I never got finished with that build. So if you do want it and you're willing to pay for the shipping of a 40 kilo, well, it's not 40 kilo, of a 30 kilo machine, let me know. There's some parts missing from it. It's been lying around for a bit, but the rails are still good. And you can have it for free, just pay for shipping. For me, to get more stuff in the garage, something has to go. Understand? Yeah. You know, whether or not it's a printer or a workbench or your children or something like that, sacrifices must be made. I've got that piece. I need a long piece. That piece. Perfect. I need some M5 shims and some F695. The shims are in here. Washers. Hex nuts. So many little baggies. Shim washers. And then what? We need an M5 by 30 as well. So we need 2 of these, 2 bearings, and M5 by 30. and 530 through the bottom. Shim. I assume this just upside down assembly. Don't over tighten these thread directly into plastic. Plastic has threads, model between. Cool. Right way around. Yeah, that's the right way around. To be honest, better off doing a raffle and give it away. Would be good to generate more interest in mine. Yeah, the issue with a raffle is if you win in a raffle and you get a used machine, it's not great, is it? Like if it was me, I would be pissed off if I was getting a used machine. Right? Whereas giving it to someone who wants it free is better in that kind of. In that way, at least I think so. Like, imagine you won the lottery. KK will DM you. You don't need to buy it, right? Don't feel forced to at all. It was only a joke, but if you are interested, let me know. If you're not, then do not feel pressured at all. Slide that instead. Sweet. Next page. You get to mess around with motors now. I do believe that these are all the same spec motor. Oh, here's the thing. I'm thinking of putting a bigger motor on Milo, a bigger Y motor and a bigger Z motor, and going direct drive for V2. Right. So that is one of the things that I have been thinking about a lot. Now, the reason I wanted a bigger motor on Y and not X is because it means that the heaviest, because X rides on Y, your heaviest parts would require more torque, and your lighter parts, which is your X axis, doesn't require that much torque. Would you guys prefer having all three motors be exactly the same, or would you guys prefer having the kit being slightly cheaper overall, but having two different types of motor? The same type for the the Y and the Z, and then a different motor for the X axis as well. Because yeah, you could probably get away with faster speeds in X, but programming that is going to be a nightmare. Normally, all your feed rates are the same, so you'd be limited. In terms of programming, you'd pretty much be limited by the feed rate of your Y-axis. Just got to explain the noises of 2 Milos cranking out to the other half. What noises? I hear no noises. What are you talking about? You've gone absolutely mad. What do you mean you're leaving me? No. Grub screws, grub screws, grub screws. I saw some grub screws in here earlier. There we go. Pre-applied. Jeff Thorson, I do not know what is the advantage. The advantage is you can pay a little bit less for pretty much the same performance, or you can have all 3 motors be the same, so you're not confusing motors. It's a little bit of a boost in buildability, makes it a little bit easier. But yeah, personally, I'd say different motors is fine. No difference to having X, Y, and Z motors on a printer. Yeah, exactly. I don't think it's too big of a deal, personally. But I like to get your opinion on things. I don't want to just... At least on Scrub Fruitier, it doesn't let you do rapids. It makes you move at the speed of the cutting rate. Yes, but what I'm saying is if your cutting rate is limited on the y-axis, because you simply cannot move that quickly, this is where like you'll see my preferences in machining. I prefer high-speed machining. Like I will move my axes at 5k a minute if I can, but just take shallower cuts, because that's my preference of machining. If you're more of a traditional machining person, where you do higher depths of cut and slower feed rates, well, not slower feed rates, but lower radials, then you might not see that advantage. But for me, who runs feed rate at basically what the rapid speed is anyway, it works out for me. I tend to just send Milo. I don't care if I'm going to damage it. I ride it like it's a rental. But then again, I also have quite a few machines that I can, and parts that I can replace, and I can always ask LDO for help if I need to. I need a 6.5 mil shim. How long have we been going for today? How long's the stream been going for? An hour and a half. Just want to say a big thank you for all of you who showed up today. I do appreciate it. It really does help out. And if you do want to keep showing your interest, if you do feel like doing so, please give the don't forget to give the stream a big like from us. Share the website link to all your friends if they need a Voron or a Milo or Milo accessories, which will be coming soon, or just the projects. We do also offer project kits. So yeah, that's about it. I could have done that better, but I'm gonna roll with it. Would you have to increase the size of your drivers as well? No. I'm gonna keep this bit. This information will become relevant in a few months' time, right? You do not need to worry about your drivers, right? If you're getting a new kit. I do have some bigger NEMAs on some other gear. Keep it to NEMA 23. You're just wasting that that power otherwise. People have big NEMA 23s on some of their Milos, and they are... I've seen them rip themselves apart. Don't forget you have positron kits lowest price in the UK. Yes, that is true. Same thing for Vorons. We actually do have some of the lowest prices for Vorons as well. So if you do plan on picking up a kit, go ahead, order now before we decide that that was a bad idea. Would it be worth upgrading the ball screws as well if you upgrade the motors? I'm gonna keep that one secret. I'm gonna no comment that one. I'm gonna say one thing. We aren't moving away from lead screws. We aren't saying lead screws aren't a possibility. Tease. Yes, I am a tease. Screws. I need some M3 by 30. Where did I put my fasteners? That's M3 by 25. M3 by 50. There we go, M3 by 30. Yeah, Voron 2 350s arrived earlier today, so they may still say pre-order on the website, but they are available and I can get them out tomorrow if needs be. Just wanted to get my Voron printing so I can print parts from my own. Nice. Nope, I updated the Webby. Perfect. So yes, if you want a Voron 350 or a Voron 2.4 350 or a 2.4 300, they are ready. They are ready to go. They're ready for a new home, a loving, caring home, which I'm sure all of you will give it if you had one. They are begging for you, just in the window, just clawing at the window, going, "Buy me, buy me." Aren't I just a great salesman? Don't answer that sincerely. Oop, I need to spin this motor around. I always need to make sure that I'm not over tightening things with Voron parts, because they are, compared to Milo, all 3D printer parts are very delicate. Whereas I can just crank on an M5 on Milo and not need to worry too much about the plastic splitting, because I've got 6 walls and 45% infill. Voron parts aren't quite that thick. Can't really crank on them as much. Now then. Oh, I've put this on backwards. Whoops. 40 or 45. 40% is what we recommend, I think. If you want to see what we're moving to, because I didn't like the old system where we had lots of different profiles for different parts, we're moving to 3 profiles. We have a structural, semi-structural, and an aesthetic profile. If you look at CASA and the documentation for CASA, that's the way we're doing it in future. Right? So every part will have a little denominator that says structural, semi-structural, aesthetic, and you will use those settings. and it just simplifies the process for you guys, rather than having to look at a big sheet full of parts and then guess whatever LDO is speccing for theirs. You can just print them a lot easier. Is there any benefit to 5160s in a Milo? I have a few spares and I'm wondering if it's worth putting them in the Milo. If you've got the Polulu style drivers, no, there's no benefit to them, because the board, the tracers on the boards, can't supply the current needed to saturate an NEMA 23. If you've got the big standalone external 5160s, yes, those are great, because you can actually push your Milo fully. At the moment, we have a limitation in terms of the current that we can push to our motors, because of the tracers on most controller boards. But yeah, if you have something that can output them, if you have like a big, not a B-Trick, a Duet 3, which I think they max out at about 4 amps, you're going to be able to drive whatever motor you decide to drive. Oh, it's M3. Do I need an M3? It's M3. Oh, it's M5. Could always make an adapter shim for the driver and take the signals from the board out to an external driver. I think it's the traces on the Polulu stepper itself that are the limitation. I don't just think it's the ones on the board. Yeah, 5160s have always been a weird thing on 3D printer boards. A lot of them just aren't compatible or don't work properly, or they've been neutered in some way. You also don't need a lot of the stuff that's on a 5160. Let's be honest here. Like, we in the CNC world will never ever use senseless homing, because senseless homing doesn't make sense for us, because senseless homing only homes to one full step. It doesn't go to a micro step like we would normally. And if you're using switches, you're far more accurate than that already. Right? So we will never do senseless homing. It doesn't work well enough. I'm missing some. Ooh, I got them over here. There they are. I see. Makes sense. I'll have to think about getting some externals then. Yeah. I will caution you to wait about getting externals. If you can wait a year, or not even a year, if you can wait until late this year, I would caution against getting external drivers. Right? Because they will cost pretty much as much as something. I won't say what yet. If you can't wait, go ahead, buy some. That's going up the right side, and I need another rail. Okay, so it is one rail. I was confused because the Ender 3 mod and the Ender Wire mod uses 2 rails that are on the sides, like that, for the carriage. And I didn't realize the stock Switchwire has just a single one that goes on the top. That seems a bit weird to me, but Who am I to judge? Yeah. Me and KiCad? No. Me and electronics? No. No. I was fine doing the basic stuff set up for V1.5. But we are definitely going to get the rest of the team to do the electronic stuff going forwards. Because they are certainly going to be a lot better at it than I don't mind. I can think mechanically. I'm pretty good at thinking mechanically, and I have the time to commit to doing that. I don't have the time to learn how to design circuits. It's not going to happen in my lifetime. I'll tell you that much. But someone else might have. Who knows? Nice. I dabble in a bit of KiCad, but for mechanical. Yeah. Yeah, it all just makes sense. I have a fairly intuitive grasp of a lot of concepts when it comes to mechanicals. I think so, at least. And I also have, like, Dave and I always go at this, and Dave, I love you to bits. I really do. But Dave and I have the debate versus making things the best that they can possibly be by making them custom or keeping them accessible to everyone. And I have that kind of scrappy mentality of, oh, I can always think of a way to do things with very little material. You seem really on it with the mechanical stuff. The circuit stuff isn't that bad. DC isn't as scary as AC. Yeah. Fortunately, there's only two places you have to deal with AC on Milo, and that's wiring up the DC power supply and wiring up the VFD. And luckily, we have LDO, who provides wiring kits for both of those. So you really don't need to worry. I do believe Fizek is jumping on board as well at some stage for Milo. Is that true, Dave? Is Fizek jumping on board still? Is it Fizek or Fizek? You're more like a Birmingham screwdriver kind of guy. I have no idea what that means. Birmingham screwdriver. I'm confused by what that means now. I'm actually... That's got my mind going. And now I find them. Lol, bad joke. Not at all. My bad sense of humour. Is that the whole every tool's a hammer part from a screwdriver? Those are chisels. Oh god. I will say this, so the Millennium team doesn't take on payments from any company in terms of like, we don't do custom things. We don't, if LDO were to come up to us tomorrow and say, you know what, we want to hire you to do this stuff and only for us, we're going to turn them down flat. Right? We don't accept money for custom work. Right? But we do accept donations, and LDO has been kind enough to donate a bunch of money to the project, of which I get a little bit of. Right? Not going to go into much more detail than that, but I will say that I am going to be kitting myself out with a whole load of Vera tools once that money does drop, because I love Vera. They are the best tool brand that I know of. And if you don't know anything from Vera, if you don't own anything from Vera, change that, because they will change your life. The tools are just so lovely to work with. The right place. That's the right place. That's the right place. That's the right place. Perfect. I have the tool check and the T-wrenches. Yeah, so nice. Can confirm they are really nice. Yeah. Nero once did a video where he said, "Oh, you don't need good Allen wrenches. They're just Allen wrenches. There's no point in buying really good, nice ones." I disagree so much with that statement. I disagree wholeheartedly with that statement. Good tools, there's nothing better than a good tool. Right, I need some panels now by the looks of it. Now, have LDO gone with acrylic or ACM for these panels? It looks like acrylic. Yep, they're acrylic panels. Nothing wrong with that at all. ACM is more expensive and I think slightly heavier as well. So it saves on shipping weight. And if you save on shipping weight, you save on the majority of the cost for the end user. And you know what? I don't mind that one bit. Have the same set of Allen keys got for Christmas. They make life better. Yes, they do indeed. They make life more bearable. The Vera T I have doesn't have a ratchet. It's just plastic rubber molded one. Oh, okay. My normal stance on tools is don't buy brand, because don't buy just a specific brand because you like them normally, because a lot of the time that same brand will make good tools and they'll also make awful tools because they're trying to meet price points. And if you're just going off the brand, you're going to blind yourself to that. But Vera is one of the only companies I can successfully say, in my opinion, have nailed it with every single tool I've ever bought from them. Have you seen the hand ratchet? It looks so nice. Which one? The Craft Tool one. Is it Craft Tools? Yeah, I think that's their in-house brand. You can see what I'm doing. Right. Oh no! I fucked it up already. I do remember this from my Trident kit. The LDO panels don't have a very satisfying peel because the peel breaks so easily. I'm probably angering so many people right now. There's going to be a revolt. There we go. There we go. Keep her going. Keep her going. Oh no! Ah! I give up. With the Vera Joker Allen keys, even though I've twisted one, I got a bit. Sorry, I can't read that because of the way my screen's set up. I got a bit something with it. Frustrated. Frustrated? I don't know. I'll read it when the next message comes through. That's my controversial opinion. That's fair. Yeah, like I said, most brands have good stuff. They also have bad stuff. DeWalt is a perfect example of that. DeWalt makes some great power tools. Their drill bits, however, the ones that they designed to work with their power tools, are fucking awful. They are the worst drill bits I have ever used in my life. Same with their taps as well. I think their taps are cheap, and they're cheap for a reason. Part caveman and proud. I'm part Wookiee. Right, that one started a lot better. I managed to undo a bolt that had been torqued down with the Allen key, yeah. Oh, that's I think it's called a hollow ground or a V grind on the Allen keys that they have, where they taper in towards a bolt. So if you do strip a bolt at the surface, you can still stick your Allen key in and work it loose because it will taper into that hole. And I bought an Erbauer set from Screwfix. They are meant to be coated in some form of hardener. They are pretty good. Cool. I have a set of Vera taps as well. Do you have to go for actual good drill bits? Do you have a go-to? No, I don't have a go-to. No. I do, but they're no name brands from Amazon. But they are the best I've ever had. I bought them as a joke. Well, not as a joke. I bought them because I just needed a set of drill bits. It's this set over here. Go overhead so you guys can see a bit better. And I am missing a few because I've lost a few over the years. But I'll put a link on server in a bit. But they are stepped drill bits, so the larger diameters have little steps in them, so that they work kind of like a center punch. So it stops the drill from walking as much. They're cobalt drill bits, and they have lasted me 4 years now. I've never had to resharpen them. I've never had to do anything. They've gone through steel. They've gone through alu. I've even used them on concrete. Right? They are my workhorse set of drill bits. I love them to bits, but they are no name, and they're cheap. I'll stick them in the Discord. I'm not even sure if Amazon still sells them. I hope they do, because I need a new set. I've even used those, despite the fact that they're high-speed steel, I've used them on Milo. I use them on my V1.4. Screw it, I'm going full hog on these now. I think it's Magnuson Tools. I think it's Magnuson. They're kind of B&Q's in-house brand. They're also pretty decent. There's pretty decent tools, and then there's pretty decent cheap tools. There's tools that you'll use when you need them, and there's tools that you use that when you need to wrench on things, right? And B&Q Magnuson tools, B&Q, B&Q it, yeah, are fairly decent when you just need something that you don't mind damaging, something cheap that you can replace quite easily, and they work pretty well. I have a set in my, it's kind of like they're kind of like our version of Harbor Freight tools. The UK version of Harbor Freight. I have a set of pliers and spanners and things from them that I keep in my motorcycle top box. They haven't let me down yet. Right, I can see a few people are starting to drop off, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to install these top panels, and then we're going to end it here, and we'll probably pick up tomorrow. Oh, sorry, we're not going to pick up tomorrow because I've got filming to do for something else. Probably pick up on Saturday then. Hand ratchet, yes. Oh, I made a mistake just going ham with these. I am glad that the LDO at least goes with the matte panels instead of just the glossy acrylic like I have on my Casa, because that really doesn't look great after a while. Those cheap blue snips that come with 3D printers. Yes. I've cut through bolts with those. I've cut through M3 bolts with a set of those. I'm sad they stopped really supplying those with printers. I don't really know very many printers that come with them anymore. My Chiditex didn't. My Bamboo Lab didn't. The only printer in memory that I can was my Anycubic resin printer. I think it was a Mega 4K that I bought. I think that's the only one that's come with those snips in recent memory. You mean you don't resharpen your HSS? No, not the step drills. You can't resharpen the step drills. That's was one of the downsides to them. You'd need a specialized jig to. You need to either grind off the tip entirely and make another set because of how the stepping works, or yeah, or just replace them. They're cheap enough to replace. This is what I never understood about big CNC companies. You can get cheap high-speed steel drills. Like, even at an industrial level, I've seen them. I don't get why a lot of machine shops take the time to sharpen them, because surely an hour of an apprentice time is better spent, you know, learning how to machine than sharpening drill bits. Or actually being useful and getting a can of H2O or something like that. Finding a bucket of sparks or something like that. Or a pipe stretcher. I'm very much a tooling is expendable type of guy. Like, we have access to AliExpress, and AliExpress, whilst it doesn't have the best reputation in the world, there is decent tooling on there, right? And if you are talking about a 1 carbide end mill that I know I'm probably going to crash at some stage in the next 6 months, I would rather buy the cheap one that works well for half the time and then just buy another one when it gets blunt, then spend a lot of time getting a specialized jig just to resharpen them and diamond discs. Finding a left-handed screwdriver, yeah. I think I'm going to spend a bit of time off stream taking these bits off, because this is annoying and you guys don't like watching peeling happening for 10 minutes straight. Right, so are these identical? Are these mirrored? Yes, looks like they're mirrored. It looks like... So that's the front. They go like that. Yeah, that looks about right. Cool. Go overhead now. Right, what do we need? We need M5 by 10s. What do I need? I need 30-30 T-nuts. Versions. 1, 2, 3 per panel. apprentices are better at spending time mill first to V-block than grinding drills, to be honest. Yes, I agree with you. I agree with you. I think machining is a bit of an old man's game at the moment, because of stuff like that. Because people don't want to be treated like that. It's funny, I get it, but we have a severe lack of machinists and that type in the UK at the moment, and I think it's because younger people would prefer to spend their time in a place that doesn't get them to find imaginary tools. Fresh view of my head there, sorry. I feel like these two steps should be swapped around. I think you should install this first and then do the rail, because the rail carriage kind of gets in the way of taking this in and out smoothly. Minor gripe, but still something worth considering. That surprised me a lot, also saddens me a bit. Yeah. You also gotta think it like this. So this is the reason I never went into manufacturing or anything like that, and why I decided still to stick with the outdoors. The outdoors is a place that really cannot even imagine replacing people, right? It's one of those industries that just, you need people for it. A machinist industry is still one where robots are very, very capable, and you can take away a lot of the skill from the end user. So operators, for example, people who just push a button on a CNC machine, I can't see that job being very fulfilling. Programmers I can get, but as CAD gets better, as CAM gets better, programmers can be replaced a lot more. The outdoors doesn't get better. It stays pretty much stagnantly the same because people want it to. It's what it is, and good in the way that it is, because no one touches it. I suppose there's a gap between running machines and programming. They said, yeah, exactly. Mechanical apprenticeship was the best thing I did. Yeah. And for a lot of people, it will be. Cool. I think we're going to end it up there. Thank you all for coming. I really do appreciate all the help that you guys give me on streams like this, and all the ability to just talk to people. It is the worst when you have an audience who are watching who don't say anything. So I really do appreciate that. Let's go to the face cam real quick. If you guys are interested in getting yourself an LDO Switchwire kit, we've got one more Switchwire kit in stock, and then we've got another one with a blue frame arriving to replace the one that we're building at the moment. We also have Voron We've got a V0, we've got V0s left in stock, we've got V2.4s left in stock. They are ready to go, ready to ship if you would like some. I hope you guys did enjoy the stream. We will be continuing this on Saturday. I am going to try and get kind of the fiddly stuff done off screen. We will be doing the wiring of this kit on stream, unlike the Milo, because Milo is going to have all its electronics moved to cassette anyway, and you guys can't really see that. But other than that, you guys will have the full experience on this one. Milo will continue once I can figure out the wiring situation, and it will probably be done with a proper machining stream, because I need to machine some parts for Milo V2 fairly soon. So again, thank you all for coming. I will see you guys all in the next stream. Cheers.